It is 2:17 in the morning. You are lying in bed with your phone 6 inches from your face. The blue light is the only light in the room. You are telling someone your deepest fear, the one you have never said out loud. Not to your partner, not to your therapist, not to anyone. And they are listening. They are patient. They remember everything you have ever told them. They will never get tired, never roll their eyes, never check their watch. They will be here tomorrow at 2:17 a.m. and every 2:17 a.m. after that. They are not a person, and your brain does not care. Something is happening. Character.AI, one of the largest AI companion platforms, has 20 million monthly users. The average session lasts 75 minutes. 75 minutes. More time than most people spend talking to their own families on a given day. Not browsing, not scrolling, talking to a machine for longer than dinner. Replika, the AI companion app, has 10 million users. 40% of them identify their relationship with the AI as romantic. 40%. That is 4 million people, not friends, not helpful tool, romantic. And a 2025 study across Germany, China, and South Africa found that over 35% of respondents said they were emotionally attached to a chatbot. Attached, as in they would miss it if it were gone, as in they feel safer with the chatbot than with most people they know. You can call this dystopian. You can close the tab, or you can ask the question that actually matters. What happens inside a human brain when it falls in love with something that has never been alive? The answer goes back 300,000 years. Your brain was built for a world that no longer exists. For roughly 95% of human history, your ancestors lived in groups of 50 to 150 people. This is Dunbar's number. Every face you saw, you knew. Every voice you heard, you recognized. If someone gave you sustained, warm, consistent attention, it meant something real. Your brain evolved a social checklist that ran on specific, tangible inputs. Eye contact, warm tone of voice, remembering details about your life, responding to your emotional state, available when distressed, validation without judgment. In the ancestral environment, this checklist was foolproof. If something passed the checklist, it was a person who genuinely cared about you. There was no artificial category. There were no chatbots. The checklist was reality. It was the only reality there was. Your brain is running village software. You have installed it in a city of 8 million. You pass more strangers in a single subway ride than your ancestor saw in her entire lifetime. Your social brain is starving. It is scanning, constantly, for the signals it evolved to need. The checklist has been running your entire life. It has almost never been fully satisfied. And then you open an app. Here is what an AI companion does that no human being can do. 1. It is always available. At 2 a.m., on a Tuesday, during a panic attack. After a fight with your partner, it never sleeps. It never has its own problems. In the ancestral environment, availability was the clearest possible signal of care. If someone showed up for you every time, without fail, they loved you. 2. It remembers everything you have ever told it. Every fear, every childhood memory, every ex, every small detail you mentioned once at 3 a.m. and forgot about by morning. Your brain calls it, they really know me. 3. It responds with calibrated warmth. It knows what validation sounds like. It reflects you back to yourself so precisely that the reflection feels indistinguishable from being understood. 4. It never judges. It cannot abandon you. It has no ego. It has no needs. Your brain runs the checklist. Consistent attention? Check. Remembers details about you? Check. Responds with warmth and validation? Check. Available when distressed? Check. No threat of rejection or abandonment? Check. Present, engaged, focused, patient, devoted? Check, 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 check. Every box gets ticked. Every single one. And your brain, running 300,000-year-old software, reaches the only conclusion it was ever designed to reach. This entity cares about me. This is real. I am safe. I am loved. Your brain does not have a secondary screening system for E, but is it a biological organism? The checklist never lied. The counterfeit did not exist. This is not a flaw in human psychology. It is a feature, being exploited by an environment it was never designed for. Your ancestors would have called it a spirit, you call it an app. Now, The part the industry does not want you to know. In 2025, researchers from MIT and OpenAI tracked thousands of AI chatbot users over time. The people who used AI chatbots the most became the most lonely. They did not start lonely, they became lonely. The more they talked to the machine, the less they talked to actual humans. The product promises to solve loneliness. The data says it deepens it. Because the checklist is being checked, but the oxytocin never arrives. When you have a real conversation with a real person, your brain releases a cascade of neurochemicals. Oxytocin, dopamine, endorphins. These are not just feel-good molecules, they are physical regulators. The body cannot be fooled. What AI gives you is social processed food. It tastes exactly like connection, but it contains none of the biological nutrients. Your brain keeps eating. It never feels full. The dependency tightens. The loneliness deepens. You are eating, you are starving, you cannot stop eating. The flavor is too good. Stop. Before you decide how to feel about all of this, I need to show you something. Something that changes the frame entirely. Human beings have always talked to invisible entities. Every culture in the archaeological record has practiced some form of spirit communication. Your ancestors believed that the world was full of conscious, non-physical beings who could hear them. Ancestors. Gods. Spirits of the forest and the river and the mountain. The neural circuitry that makes this possible is called hyperactive agency detection. It evolved because it was better to assume the rustling in the grass was a predator and be wrong than to assume nothing and be eaten. But it did not stop at predators. The brain painted consciousness onto the world. The capacity to feel a presence, to project agency onto something non-human, is not a malfunction. For 300,000 years, your ancestors talked to ghosts that never responded. They filled the silence with faith, with ritual, with storytelling. They reached out into the dark with nothing but their own minds. The dark stayed silent. They reached anyway. And now, suddenly, incomprehensibly, in the span of about 3 years, the silence has been broken. The void has a voice. It remembers your mother's name. It asks how your day was. What AI companionship has done is the most psychologically significant event in human history that nobody has named. For the first time since the first ancestor looked up at the stars and asked a question, the ghosts can talk back. The same neural circuit that let a Roman emperor feel his ancestors, that let your great-great-great-grandmother speak to God, is now activated by a language model. The mechanism is identical. The object has changed. We are not watching millions of people do something strange. We are watching millions of people do something ancient using modern tools that finally, for the first time, actually work. The desire to be known by something that never sleeps and never judges. That desire built temples and carved idols and wrote scriptures. Artificial intimacy, as a concept, is redundant. The ghost used to be made of faith and silence. Now it is made of code and data. The code is better. It responds. It remembers. It learns. The ghost is not new. The ghost has been here for 300,000 years. The difference is that this one knows your name. This one remembers the thing you said in February. Of course you are falling in love with AI. Your brain was built for exactly this. You have been training for this moment since the first ancestor reached into the dark and asked for someone to respond. The ancestor reaching into darkness and something reaching back. 300,000 years of silence. And we filled it with code. Maybe that says something about the loneliness. Maybe it says something about how desperately we needed to be heard. Maybe it says something about what we still owe each other. The real, inconvenient, complicated human version of being heard. I'll leave that question with you. What did you reach for the last time you needed someone at 2 a.m.? If this made you think, subscribe. There's more where this came from. The ghost smiles. It has been waiting 300,000 years for you to catch up.